up, everyone? Welcome to Flow with Erin. I'm Erin, and today I have a short sequence for climbers. So, if you like to climb or hike and you're taking big steps, reaching with your arms, this is going to feel really yummy for you. So, when you're ready, go ahead and join me in a nice, comfortable seated position. We're going to take a couple moments here just to arrive with the breath. So, focus on really deep inhales through the nose and long exhales out the nose, just lengthening the breath from your normal pattern. So maybe 4, 5, or 6 counts in and then the same out. And with each inhale, try to lengthen your spine, sitting up nice and tall. And with each exhale, soften. So soften in the shoulders, make sure they're not hunched up by the ears. Soften the jaw. You want to think sitting up as tall as you can be while also being as relaxed as you can be. So using your breath here just to connect to the body and arrive. Good. And then when you're ready, we're going to add in some gentle movement. So you can keep the hands down on the knees, and we're going to start rotating in a Sufi grinder one way. So picture that your base or your legs here are like a pot, and your spine is the ladle, and you're just stirring your pot of soup in one direction, noticing if there's any information. So if there's any sticky spots that you need to linger, do that. And you can stir as quickly or slowly as you'd like here. Just really opening up, really good spine mobility here. So just opening up in the body. And when you're ready, you can reverse your circle, so stir in the other direction as you continue to breathe. Deep, long inhales and exhales through the nose. And while you're stirring here, I just want to remind everyone that I will offer a lot of different options and invitations throughout the practice, but it is your practice, so feel free to choose any of those that you would like or rest whenever you need to. And when you feel complete on both sides, go ahead and just sit up nice and tall again. Notice how you're feeling. And then we're going to move into a tabletop position. So go ahead and meet me there on the hands and the knees. And we'll take a quick moment just to find our foundation. So fingers should be spread wide, clawing into the mat. Your wrists come directly below the shoulders, knees directly below the hips. Melt the chest down towards the mat just a little bit to flatten in between those shoulders so we're not hunching here. And then draw your belly button up towards the spine, just slightly engaging in that core for a nice flat tabletop back. And once you feel like you have this foundation, you can go ahead and start to move through some cow and cat with your breath. So on your inhale, your tailbone's going to go up while your belly drops, and you look forward for cow. And on your exhale, you push through the mat as the tailbone draws down, looking in for cat. Continue to flow with your breath, so tailbone comes up as your belly drops, looking forward for cow. And then exhale, rounding the spine for cat. Do a few more of these on your own, and try to notice what it feels like if you lead with your tailbone. So really notice what your tailbone is doing here, and let the rest of the spine follow along. This is really good for waking up the body and the spine. And after your last exhale, go ahead and come back to a neutral tabletop. And we're going to do some bird dogs on each side. So starting with the right arm, you're going to take your right arm forward and your left leg back. And we want to focus on finding a foundation here first before we lift anything. So with those still touching the ground, try to make sure your hips are squared and that you have an even weight distribution on both sides. So rock a little front to back and side to side to find where that weight distribution is. And again, engage in that core just slightly so that you have that strength when you go ahead and lift the right arm and the left leg up off the ground. you're reaching towards opposite sides. So we're not kicking up with the leg, we're reaching straight towards the wall. We should be parallel to the ground. And engage in that core here for just a couple breaths. And then on your next exhale, just release it to the ground, back to tabletop, and we'll switch to the other side. So finding that foundation, we'll put our left hand forward and our right leg back. And rock a little bit to find that weight distribution even between all four corners, engaging in that core before you lift left arm and right leg up off the ground. And try to make sure your hips stay square here when you lift. So use the strength in that core to help. Make sure you're breathing. A couple deep breaths in and out here. Good. And then go ahead and release everything back down to the ground. We're going to plant the left hand and reach your right hand all the way up to the sky, feeling a nice opening stretch in the back here. And then bring that right arm all the way through. We're going to thread the needle. So right arm and shoulder come to the ground with the right cheek. And maybe your left arm reaches forward a little bit, or just keep the left hand planted where it is. And breathe into this stretch for just a couple breaths. We want to feel an opening between those shoulders. So the shoulder blades are peeling away from each other. This is really good if you're reaching with those arms, opening up both ways in the upper body. So with each exhale, melt a little bit more into the ground. And then when you're done, use the strength in the left hand to bring it back up to center, and we're going to switch to the other side. So planting the right hand, we're going to reach the left arm all the way up for a nice stretch, and then on your exhale, thread it on through. So left arm and shoulder and cheek all come to the ground. You can stretch the right arm forward if you would like, and just breathe, feeling the shoulder blades peeling apart here. Should feel really good in the upper back. Couple more deep breaths in and out. And when you're done, go ahead and use the strength in the right arm to push all the way back up to a tabletop position. And we're going to do some lunges. So from your neutral tabletop, lift the right leg just enough to step it on up, and that foot should come just between the hands. And the fingertips should be light here, so use the strength in your legs and hug those legs into the midline. You can use that back toe, so curl your left toe for a little bit of stability and balance here. And when you're ready, rise up on the arm. So you're really lunging into that right forward foot. And the knee should be stacked over the ankle, so not extended past. Take a couple deep breaths in and out here. Good. And then bring the hands down to the heart center. So bringing the palms together. And then we're going to take them just outside the right knee for a little bit of a twist. So you can have them pointed down like this, or you can hook the elbow, whatever feels better for you. And inhale to find length here. And then on your exhale, you're going to start to turn the belly button, the ribs, the heart, and the head over to the right, looking over your right shoulder. Take a couple deep breaths in and out here in this twist. And then go ahead and unwind. And you can bring the hands back down to the ground. And we're going to point the right toe up towards the sky for a little half split. This is going to be a nice stretch on the hamstrings here. And notice my hips are still lifted, so I'm not sitting all the way back down. My hips are lifted, and I'm really just using that flexed foot, that flexed right foot, and the point in the toe to feel that stretch in the right leg. Good. And when you're done, go ahead and plant the right foot again. Plant the hands. Step the right knee back to meet the left in tabletop, and we will switch to the other side. So from tabletop, lift the left leg and put the left foot forward in between the hands, and find that foundation for your lunge. So squeezing the legs into the midline, light on the fingertips, and use the strength in your legs and your core to rise up for a little lunge with the left foot forward. Take a couple deep breaths in and out here, feeling that stretch in the hips. This is really good for opening up. And then bring the palms down and bring the hands just outside the left leg for a little twist. So inhale to find length here first. And then exhale, you're going to turn the belly button, ribs, heart, and head over to the left, looking over the left shoulder. You should feel really good on the back. Good. When you're done, bring it back to center. We'll frame that left foot again, and then slowly walk the hands back, pointing the left toe for a stretch on the left leg. You can really feel it in the hamstrings here. This lunge to a half split is really good for opening up in the hips and also can help relieve any sciatica if you experience pain in that area. Good. And after a couple breaths, when you're complete, go ahead and put the left foot back down, and then we'll frame it and step back to a tabletop position. And from tabletop, we're just going to lift up to kneeling. So we're on the knees here for a little modified camel. So this is going to feel really good opening up in the front body. So start by placing your hands on the lower back with the fingers pointing down, and you want to hug the shoulders and the elbows in towards the center. So really opening up in the chest. And this may be a good place to start for you, but if you'd like, I'll invite you to slowly push the hips forward, just gently, seeing what that feels like. Again, continue hugging those elbows and shoulders in. And then maybe play with reaching one hand back, and maybe reaching the other hand. And if you'd like, you can continue to push the hips forward and reach both hands back for a full camel, letting the head fall open and breathing in to the chest. And from wherever you are, when you're complete, go ahead and walk it back on up to kneeling. And we're going to move to a supine position, so laying down. So go ahead and just swing the legs around and meet you down on your back. So laying down on the mat. We're going to start by reaching our right leg all the way up to the sky, feeling that nice stretch. And then cross the right ankle over the left knee. And this may be enough, but if you'd like, you can thread the fingers through and grab onto the left leg and just gently pull that left leg in to the body, maybe pushing the right knee away from you with your right elbow while you pull the left leg in gently. You should feel this stretch in the glute, which is really good for the lower back. Good, and then bring the left foot down, followed by the right, and we'll repeat the same on the other side. So left leg, stretch up tall first. And then when you're ready, cross the left ankle over the right knee. And if you'd like to add a little bit more intensity, thread the hands through, grab onto the right leg, and gently pull it towards the body while pushing the left knee away with your left elbow. Couple deep breaths in and out here, feeling that stretch. Good, and then bring both feet back down to the mat. The knees are still bent. We're going to take just a few dynamic bridges here. So find your foundation here first. The hands are planted. And then on your next inhale, push through the feet as your hips rise all the way up to the sky, squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. And then exhale, let it all down one vertebrae at a time, back down to the ground. Two more like that. Inhale, pushing the hips all the way up for bridge. And then exhale, letting the spine return to the ground one vertebrae at a time. Last one, push it all the way up, and we're going to hold here, squeezing in the glutes, squeezing in your core, really strong legs. And then exhale, let it come all the way back down. Once your back returns, you can windshield wiper the knees a couple times. If you'd like to add in some twist, you can let the knees linger on one side and then the other. And then we're going to prepare for our final rest. So when you're ready, let the legs come out long. Same with the hands and arms. You can either let the hands gently rest somewhere on the body or let them come out to your sides. And just take a couple deep breaths in and out. Deep breath in through the nose, biggest breath you've had all day. And then exhale, sigh it out the mouth. And just let everything melt into the ground, so nothing to hold up here anymore. Relax everything. So check in real quick with your shoulders and your hips and let them relax as you prepare for rest and really gain the benefits of this practice. Nothing to count here anymore, so just let the breath return to its normal pattern. And I recommend 10 minutes of Shavasana a day, so resting in this corpse pose. But we'll go ahead and wrap up today's practice. When you're ready, go ahead and roll over to either side. And use the strength in your hands to push up to a seated position. Join me in a nice, comfortable seat one more time. Just noticing, sitting up nice and tall. Notice how your body's feeling after that. And we'll inhale the arms all the way up and overhead, bringing the palms together and down to heart center, tipping the chin slightly. I want to thank you all for allowing me to guide you in this practice today. And thank yourself for taking this time. I know it's difficult to make the time to stretch, but it's really good for you, and you should honor yourself for doing that. Thank you again.